Okay, welcome to Default to Gaming's Halo Reach First Look. I am Dr. Laser.
That's a clever first look. I'm Blarg.
And I'm Bread Chicken.
Halo Reach, campaign, first of all.
Came out yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Campaign's good. We all got to play Halo Reach
Yesterday.
a little bit.
You don't have yours yet.
I don't have my copy, but I managed to snag a hold of a friend's. So,
That's mean of you.
so it
I
came
just
out.
jacked it, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, it came. It came out as we were recording this yesterday. So we all got to play it on the first day.
So we have an order of things in which we're going to talk about them,
Mhm.
and we're going to try to do this in one video. We did a previous take where it took
did.
22 minutes.
It did. Okay.
So campaign.
First of all, campaign.
I played campaign, I played campaign. Laser, you played campaign.
Everyone played campaign.
You
We
played
all
2
played
missions of campaign. You did
Well,
not
more
play.
than 2 missions. It was a
Okay,
while.
we all
but
played
I don't know
campaign.
how
So we all
many.
played campaign for a little bit.
It's good.
I agree. It managed to nail that
It
Halo.
it
feel.
has Halo pacing.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. I put it in a wider space.
Story wise, you mean?
I think if you're used to Call of Duty campaigns, I think you'll think about like one big huge arc.
More of like you could just play it in one sit.
Yeah, you can play it in one sit, and when the story that you're on wraps up, that's the end of the game.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Halo builds it in a way that each time you accomplish a major objective, it almost feels like the end of a game.
So more of like a resting point. Like you can go do something else.
There are many more actual stopping points.
So
where
it
it's like
kinda-
I can stop here
it kinda
and
re-
come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's longer.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that's good. though.
that's nice though, because I thought I was gonna truck it in one night and get it done in 7 hours, which
Doesn't
by the
work
normal was also a lot harder than I expected it to be.
Yeah,
And like harder than it's not because I'm a wimp and can't do normal. It's because
it was.
It's a long
It is.
campaign.
It is actually significant. The normal mode. Well, the hardest part was the hunters, and the hunters have become
Terrible
stupid intelligent.
Goliaths.
If that makes any sense.
I think they did a real good job on AI. Like,
They did,
AI
they did.
is a lot better and not stupid as much.
There are a lot of Easter egg kind of stuff.
yeah.
I think little touches. referencing
There's
back
a lot
to-
of fan service in Reach,
There is.
and that's really good.
They one of the things that they did is they tried to recreate moments from previous games, which I thought was really cool. Like there was little things like the beach drop and silent cartographer
Yeah.
from Halo 1 is something that they got a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
things
it
like
definitely
that.
feels like it has its own place in the Halo universe. Like it's familiar and not like totally random.
It's not brand new,
Yeah.
but it's not
Yeah.
brand new in a good way. If that makes sense. Like
What?
you would think like, oh, it's not new. I've played it before. It's like.
Yeah,
it still has a new feel. Like there's tons of stuff that's brand new about it, but it
But
still
you have those
feels,
moments where you're like, oh, I remember that.
yeah.
yeah.
So Firefight. I played Firefight.
I
You
played
played Firefight.
I didn't get to play Fire.
You didn't play Firefight. We played Firefight matchmaking, which turns out to be different than ODST Firefight,
Yeah.
as opposed to being
As opposed to being 2 hours of sitting down with four guys.
3 lives.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
now a very quick. You have 10 minutes. Kill as many as you can.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what we assume. We only got to play one game, but that's what we assume. is going on.
We killed the last enemy in the first
Yeah.
set right as we ran out of time, so we don't know.
It was a stroke of luck though. So
We don't know if
it continues or
it adds time on.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll have a chance.
But it's just classic firefight, like just
It's good.
survive.
It's bueno.
Multiplayer is pretty cool.
Multiplayer is pretty cool.
Forge first.
Actually, yeah, we're going to cover Forge first. So
None of us really used Forge,
I got a chance to poke around at Forge a little bit. and
but one thing I will note about Forge before you start to talk about what you did in Forge is the fact that it must be better because people have remade some of the maps that supposedly took months to make in the old Forge, like with all the interlocking
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, that's-
like it's called Wiz something. That was an MOD map. Somebody has already recreated
oh yeah,
on the
no.
first day.
No, I
Mhm.
mean in Halo 3, if you wanted to get two objects to intersect with each other, phase, whatever it was, you had to go through this whole process.
You had to,
it was a
like,
glitch,
Reset,
basically.
Yeah, reset the rounds and
It was a glitch.
And
that
as
normally
opposed to
wouldn't
being
have
a
been able to do it.
developers that squash glitches, one just said,
Let's
good-
just let it do that.
Let it
Mhm.
make that glitch not a glitch. Make it a feature.
Feature, yeah. So
yeah.
Forge is so much easier now. Setting objects, moving objects around, little
But
itty-bitty
really,
things.
really, the most important thing about Forge, you can paint your mongooses.
You can change you can change the color of your mongoose depending on the team, and it's all the team colors.
So,
like
red,
and
yellow,
blue and yellow,
orange,
and
we,
green,
we,
brown,
we assume
pink,
that this has to do
purple.
with Rocket Race.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the fact that
probably.
Rocket Race is now a designated game type.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, what's cool is that they've embraced all the community game types. So now, SWAT is in rotation off the bat. Like when you start a SWAT game, it tells you SWAT.
You're playing.
In like the epic voice, like
Yeah.
SWAT. And-
Yeah.
yeah, like that. That was good.
Or like Griff Ball.
Yeah. Griffball.
Continue.
A Griffball is like,
It's,
in there. Rocket Race. I assume when Rocket Race starts, it's gonna go Rocket Race.
Yeah, and
Like it's actually a game type now, not just
Yeah.
like someone.
It's not. It
created
doesn't
and
tell you VIP when it's like, but
It actually starts.
Yeah.
using-
it's like
Rocket
no, it's like
Race.
Rocket Race.
Yeah.
When you start up SWAT, it doesn't say Slayer. It says SWAT.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is cool.
Another thing about the mongoose is they're actually like
They're
ATV.
bigger.
Yes, they don't
They're,
look
like,
like puny
fat.
things.
And I think that has to do with the fact that, and the way that explains itself through the lore is the fact that, hey, mongooses weren't these initial designed light vehicles that they turned out to be. They were these
Heavy
big, fat
ATVs, yeah.
ATV things.
Yeah.
Like they've got treaded, like super treaded tires now.
Yeah.
Yeah, all kinds of.
Speaking of which, I hadn't thought about this until just now. The game is pretty.
It is.
It's pretty nice.
It's a good-looking game. I wouldn't say it's like
The best
amazing
looking ever?
but it's definitely
An improvement.
from
Yeah.
Halo 3 or ODST.
So the maps are good. We all have agreed the
Yeah.
maps are good.
The only-
We can go into further depth at a
There's-
later
yeah.
date when we actually know the maps.
When we have like
I mean,
a review of everything.
Because what we stumbled upon on our first take is the fact that we all went. I played on that map once and I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, the one real thing that I'd find was that on Boneyard, there's this one structure where a team constantly spawns, and it's whichever team happens to be spawning on that structure.
Has an immense advantage.
No, not even that. It has an immense disadvantage because they're
Oh, really?
spawning on a scaffold, basically, with no cover.
Oh, is that crane thing?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
And you
yeah.
can't get down, and you're pretty much screwed if you spawn there. And I played 3 games, 2 of snipers and 1 of SWAT, and whichever team spawned on the scaffold was just completely wiped out.
So matchmaking, the voting system is fantastic. Wave of the future.
Yeah.
Hands
Yeah.
down. Everybody loves it. Everyone
Yeah.
I've talked to in game chat has said
It's awesome.
this
It's great.
works. None of the above works except in Firefight. We had some trouble with it because in Firefight you get 3 options on one map.
Yeah, and
And if you don't
really,
like that map, you hit none of the above. And if you don't get a good map the second time around, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Well,
But I understand why they did it that way because I'm sure that some people who are trolls would immediately go out in parties of 8
And just play whatever
and
they
lock
want.
down lobbies by
Yeah.
just not even play. They just none of the above until
constantly.
Until they want.
because you can't leave that lobby.
Yeah.
Once you're in voting, you can't leave the lobby. One thing we did notice is that you can leave a game, no consequence.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't even lose.
No credits lost.
They were saying that that they were going to seriously lock down on people who left games constantly. Is one thing that I heard.
Like how?
Like Banhammer, on, like a.
on like serious leavers, on like
on people who left constantly.
like
like
more than
spamming,
like
the
more
leave button.
more than 50% of the time.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, I would think if you have over a month a lead percentage over, over say you have 25 games, or no, that's not. Like say 50 games,
Yeah.
and you leave over 50% of that, I think that should be suspension.
Well, first off, who would leave a game in Halo? Like everything is pretty much so fun, and it's like
Even when you're losing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what
There are
I
people who
noticed last
leave.
night, and I told this to you, Red Chicken, is that when you die in Call of Duty, it's always like, what the hell? I don't have that gun. That gun's
Yeah, I'm
better than
like-
my gun. And Halo was like,
He was better than me.
he was better than me, but I always feel like it's cool.
Yeah.
Like it's always cool. There's none of this like.
Oh crap! Why was that? That was stupid.
I mean, swords sometimes just like, oh fuck.
Yeah. I don't know.
but you can still block swords, which is pretty cool now.
I've
I don't
had
like
trouble
that.
doing that.
Like all you do is just melee right when they slash
I like
you.
the new control scheme.
Oh yeah.
I'll do. But we'll get into that at a future date.
I don't know. I think this is good though.
Should we wrap it up
For
now?
a first look.
First look.
Generally
So
positive.
everything's good.
Yeah, there's nothing really bad about it.
We have yet to hit a stomach block. Nobody has hit a stomach block.
Yeah.
and we've been playing for we've only had
Collectively, we probably have like
15 hours maybe.
15 hours.
Yeah.
But it's so far we haven't really found anything that's a huge problem.
And,
It's good.
and we have found nothing that has made us rage.
Yeah.
That's true.
I had some connection issues once, but that's
And it seemed like it changed host too, which was pretty
yeah. We had a host transfer without
in game, like while playing,
while
without
playing,
anything
or either that or somebody's internet connection
like rebooted
like
or something.
crashed and rebooted while we were playing, which would be weird.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
generally positive.
Yeah.
There was nothing. If you were a
No.
fan of Halo and in the slightest, you should like Reach.
Yeah.
It's competitive.
It's everything you want in a game.
It's
And if
everything
you
they
ever
said
get
it was gonna be.
frustrated with anything, you can always do something else. There's too much to do.
Yeah.
Armory, and there's always something to work towards. For those
Yeah.
of you who like unlocks, the armory is so incredibly dense.
Yeah. And you can
It's
get credits
ridiculous.
from doing anything. Even forging
And
will get you credits.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they found a
That's
way
what I
to figure out the difference between rubber band on a controller and forging, which is pretty cool.
Like number of objects dropped, and
I don't know. They'll figure.
they figured out a
They
way.
figured something out.
So
But,
like
yeah.
anything, if you're into forging, bam, you get credits. If you're into firefight, bam, you get credits.
You can always find a way to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you've liked the series and you're worried about, oh, I don't want to have it be a bad send off. It's a great send off.
Yeah.
They find a way to, if you know your Halo, you will have moments that other people won't get where you go,
Wow.
I know that.
Yeah.
And there are some maps that are straight ripped
From previous
from
games.
previous games.
Yeah.
Like if you remember Ivory Towers from
Is
Halo
now-
2, it is now Reflection, and it's
perfect.
shinier and
Yeah,
it's fancier.
it's shinier and fancier.
Um,
So I think that's all the time we have.
So if you liked this format, or you want us to go into further detail, but for longer videos, leave a
us know.
comment. Let us know. We'll take your suggestion into
Into account. Which
into
we're gonna be
account.
actually doing.
Like, rate, or actually like and subscribe, please. We're
Yes.
trying to start booming.
because he is our pit fan.
I could sell you stuff if you'd like.
All
Buy
right,
Reach, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm Blarg.
Maybe we'll get T-shirts one day.
I'm Blarg,
I'm Dr. Laser.
And I'm Bread Chicken.
and this has been the first look at Halo Reach review next week. We're not clear on how that
Probably.
format's gonna work
Tons
out.
of gameplay today. That's
Yeah.
true.
So by the way, if there's been gameplay behind this that we haven't talked about,
That's because
that's
we
because
added it later on.
yeah, we are currently sitting around a table with no video whatsoever.
Okay.
So
This has
that
been
will do it.
Default to Gaming. Bam, son. Get off
Cool.
my back.
who's on your back?
Everyone.